The killer planted a time bomb in the man's car. Then he rode a bike and fled quickly. The bomb had already started counting down, but the man knew nothing about it. Suddenly, a bee flew into the car. The man waved his hand to shoo it away, but no matter what he did, he couldn't get rid of it. This really made him angry. The man pulled over to the side of the road and began to chase the bee frantically. The countdown was about to hit 0. Finally, the bee landed somewhere. He immediately took off his shoe. The killer thought his plan had succeeded, but he never expected that. The man was not only standing in front of the car, but also unharmed, so the man got a new car. He was talking on the phone with his wife when the killer appeared again. He fired several shots at the man, but the bullets hit the fuel tank. Gasoline started spraying out. The man in the car still didn't notice that danger had quietly arrived. He took out a lighter, only to find it was broken, so he threw it out the window casually. The gasoline ignited instantly. The killer couldn't dodge in time and was surrounded by the sea of fire. Luckily, he jumped out of the car in time, barely saving his life, but he also realized how dangerous the man was. 2 consecutive failed attempts made the leader very unhappy, and he ordered that the task must be completed. The man had just driven into a gas station when other killers caught up. To get rid of him, the subordinate hired a top-tier killer this time. While the man wasn't paying attention, the killer poured knockout drug onto a handkerchief, then quietly approached the man. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew, and the handkerchief covered his own mouth. But the man, who was the target of the plot, still knew nothing about all this. Soon, the killer woke up. He struggled to get up, and the knife in his hand accidentally punctured a tire. The repeated failed attempts made the leader fly into a rage, so he immediately arranged for soldiers to forcibly arrest the man and take him back to the base. The leader wanted to mock him, but the man acted indifferent. The leader glared at him fiercely and ordered 2 subordinates to finish the man off. Just then, the man snapped. He broke the ropes binding him in an instant, then ran forward and jumped out of the window abruptly. The next second, a soldier was caught by a rope and lifted up, kicking down the 2 men upstairs. Suddenly, a soldier appeared with a gun aimed, and the man quickly raised his hands to beg for mercy. The soldier who was hung up fell down, directly knocking his teammate unconscious. He hurried to meet his wife. Then they rushed to call the police. With the man's active cooperation, the police successfully located the den and arrested the entire criminal gang. The water delivery man was born with X-ray vision. With one glance, he saw that the little girl's finger was broken. If not treated immediately, it would become necrotic. So he snatched the boy's popsicle and used it to splint the girl's finger. Then he took off the girl's rubber band to make a simple fixation. He jokingly asked the girl for treatment fees. Just then, the girl's father arrived. Before leaving, the man urged them to go to the hospital for a checkup. Later, they went to the hospital. When the doctor saw the splint on her finger, he was completely shocked. He said the splinting was very standard, and if it had been a little later, the finger might have become necrotic. Then the doctor told them to get a CT scan. But around the corner, the girl heard a familiar voice again. It was the man who had helped her earlier. The girl's father was about to thank him when suddenly he started coughing violently. The man realized something was wrong and immediately pressed his hand against the man's chest. This strange action made the girl's father alert. The man had to advise him to seek treatment soon. Before long, the father began to have difficulty breathing. At the same time, a major traffic accident occurred on the highway. The hospital was crowded with injured people. The girl was very worried seeing her father's condition. She hurried to ask the doctors for help, but the doctors were busy treating the injured, and no one paid attention to her. With no other choice, she could only scream loudly. But when they saw she was just a little girl, the doctors went back to their work. The man watched all this silently. The girl looked so desperate. Soon, her father went into shock. The man just touched his chest and confirmed it was a heart problem. But the doctors were still busy, and no one could perform surgery on him. Looking at the anxious nurse, the girl made a difficult decision. She took out her last yuan and asked the water delivery man to operate on her father. Looking at the sobbing little girl, the man made up his mind. No matter the consequences, he would do his best to save her father. Then he put on a surgical gown and sneaked into the operating room. Before anyone could react, the surgery began. He cut open the patient's abdomen, and not a drop of blood flowed out. The doctors around were all shocked. With his superb medical skills, the girl's father was successfully out of danger. After the incident, the doctors realized that he was not the chief surgeon. When they tried to verify the man's identity, he had already quietly left the hospital.